Hey guys, I just gotta ask you a question. Is it hard being as cute as you guys are? Nah, I'm just kidding. Today I'm gonna be going over a game where your boy ended up hitting Diamond 2, hooray! You know, a lot of people are asking me as I climb, when am I gonna be Diamond, when I was hard stuck flat for a little bit. And now we're in Diamond 2, which, you know, I might not even hit Masters, who knows? But this is my Diamond 2 game that I want to go over with you guys, right? One thing I will say, guys, is don't care about the LP, care about how you perform in a game, like care about how you roll down, how you position, fundamentals, you know. It's like I don't know how to phrase it, because here I can give you an example, right? The highest elo I ever was in like TFT, I didn't get a screenshot of it, was I was 1000 LP. It was 1000 LP in TFT. And the little spark notes of it was I was 400 LP at the time, right? And I was so excited to be 400 LP. And what ended up happening was your boy lost it all. So I'm going to go over augments like I usually do in the past. All right, we're coming into them right here for you boys. I click it so quick because I already know what I want to go. So in these lobbies, I come in with the preconceived notion of always playing Pandora's items, so that's why I just selected it. Blood money doesn't interest me, unburdening doesn't interest me, you know, gain 1 gold per 3 HP missing. It doesn't seem that good for me. Over getting Gigabyss items, and then your units without items equipped gain 30% attack speed. Now this you could take, right? This is really good, especially if you rock like challengers, or if you do rock Deadeye, and you put all of your items on just Aphelios and just Sejuani, and let all the rest of your Deadeyes gain 30% attack speed. So this is a goated item, or it could be good to go, right? But I'm always going to take Pandora's items, because I want to get Gigabyss. Now, before I get back to my story, one thing I do want to tell you guys is, right now, I am spamming Deadeyes every single game I play. And why is this? Everybody hops on the bandwagon and transitions and follows the meta. Right now, the meta is Ionia Challengers, or what is it? Strategists with like a Zir or whatever. Those are the two comps right now where you rock like Teemo and all them, and then you got J4. So what does that mean? That means your boy gets to gabagool some people and get the free Deadeye opener, stabilize really easy, get my free 2-star Sedges, my free 2-star Aphelioses, and I really don't have to care about all that, right? Just because a comp isn't meta doesn't mean it isn't good anymore. And what it means is you get to hit for free. So that's a good thing. But back to my story earlier. Right now, I could go from Diamond 2 all the way to Diamond 4, because you can't demote about a lower out of a tier, right? But don't care about the LP, care about the fundamentals. Back to my story, I was 400 LP at the time, above Masters, and I was in Grandmasters, the very bottom, and I was like, oh my god, you know, every game I cared so much, and I lost it all, dude. I hit like 5 games in a row where I got like 8th place, and then I was 0 LP. Masters, I was like hella depressed. And then I was like, you know what? Let's get this bread. And what I did was I just started focusing on my fundamentals every single game. I didn't care about the LP anymore. I had nothing else to lose. And that was the first time I get like in 3 or 4 days, I straight won all the way up to 1000 LP. And that's after burning through 400 LP. That's like going from Diamond 1 all the way down to Diamond 4. And then going from Diamond 4 to Diamond 1 twice and a half after that. If that gives you perspective of the LP, right? So don't let the LP get you down, guys. Focus on the fundamentals, okay? We're doing Deadeye. It's pretty simple. There's not a whole lot to talk about here. We're going to focus on getting in the Freylord. And I want you guys to start paying attention to the intervals at the top when you play your games, so you can start understanding the tempo a bit more here. Right here, I choose to finish the Jin pair and take a random component. Even though it's on a 1-cost unit, which kind of nukes our econ here, it's not good to do, right? But we ended up taking it just so we could finish the Jin. Jin 2 is a monster, and you're going to use him as an item holder. Whenever you play this comp, guys, you can either rock a Bruiser frontline, or Brawler, whatever they're calling it now, and we're calling it a Bruiser, okay. Or you can rock a Bastion frontline. You're always going to kind of want to get Frailer out on the board. And another thing I'll have to say about this comp, and a lot of high elo people are doing it, but Big Bro's going to break it to you, you know, because I keep you guys in the loop, is a lot of people aren't going for the Aphelios. I know. People are going for Action, and they're going for Action 3. And I've realized that from playing this comp is Action is built literally differently. Like that unit, when you put 3 items on him, he feels better than a lot of 2-star 4 costs, genuinely. So if you rock him 3-star, every time he ults, he's killing like 2 units, which is giga good. So don't sweat it on the Aphelios too much if you don't find it, and just kind of focus on, you know, stacking some actions. So if you stumble into the Aphelios, then that's good, you know, but don't sweat it too much. One thing I will say is if you guys are playing this and you're going for the stereotypical Aphelios, and I've had some people in my Twitch chat with me, we were talking about it, and I was willing to try it out. I was open-minded, right? You know, law of averages, some people in my Twitch chat gotta know what's going on, right? So I'll ask some people some questions. I'm trying to figure out their perspective on things. And I was talking about how I think for Aphelios you need to have Rage Blade, which I'm right about, by the way. But somebody was like, oh, you can try Rapid Fire Cannon. So I tried out for one of my games, and I don't know, bro. It just didn't hit the same. You really need, if you're playing Aphelios, you really need Rage Blade, right? And since he can go infinite with that Rage Blade, you need a healing item on him. And I used to think that you need a Last Whisper on him, but you don't. The Gigabyss items on Aphelios for this Freylord comp is you want to rock the Hodge, so you get the healing and the crit chance from the Hodge, right? The Rage Blade, so it can go infinite with those with his ulti and like the little half moons that circle him. And then you want to go Infinity Edge, because the Hodge gives him the healing that he needs, and it gives him the crit chance, and then the Infinity Edge boosts the crit chance, and then the Rage Blade allows him to ramp up and keep the healing going and keep pumping out the deeps, right? So looking at these here, right? So we already have Pandora's items. Now this is where a lot of people go wrong. I'm very comfortable playing Dead Eyes and the Bruiser frontline because I played so much Samira last set, right? And I'm looking here, and a cut above would have been amazing to have if I didn't already slam this component on Jin, and I'll tell you why. Because I could have made 2 Death Blades. This says Champions holding Death Blade. So I could have made a Death Blade for Jin here, and then made another Death Blade on, like, on Action, right? So this was a mistake slamming that component, but I wanted to slam the component so I can make Infinity Edge, right? So this was a mistake in hindsight, 2020. You see, this is a new augment. I'm not used to this. Now, item grab bag, we're not going to want to take this because we already have Pandora's items. We want to have a combat summoner, right? So there's econ summoners. There's, like, I would have to say quality of life summoners, and then, like, combat summoners. So out of all these, we're not going to take item grab bag. We're not going to take cut above because we don't have a third item. We don't have a third item slot for our Jin. I'm going to lead towards Contagion because it is a combat augment that allows basically for my units to just mop up, right? And deal more damage onto the board. I'm probably going to refresh the other 2 and see what they are. We're not going to take Invoker Crest. It's never going to fit into the comp. We just decided to go for it, right? And on 3-2, you guys go level 6. This is standard, just standard leveling here. Now, this is the most important stage for people and how they decide to play their game out, right? You're going to see people do it in this lobby. 3-2, you go level 6. Depending on your econ, if you lose streak stage 2 or if you have an econ augment or something like that, people will either choose to, on 7, on 3-5, they'll go level 7, and they'll roll down the vast majority of their gold, and they'll either try to stabilize with like a Azir, you know, Lux, go that route, or you know, go for like the Yasuos, the Kaisas for the Ionia Challenger stuff. And it used to be on 3-5 people would roll down for the Deadeyes, right? But now, since everybody's playing those other comps, you get to have the luxury of saving up your gold, you know, get a couple more gold rounds of interest, and then on 4-1 you get to go 7. So you're not nuking your econ nearly as much as you would. Meaning we have a bit more gold to roll on 7. We have a higher chance of being able to go level 8. And one thing I will say, guys, is you are never going to slam QSS here on Jin. Aphelios needs 3 damage items. You really can't get away without having 3 damage items. And there's no point in rolling, guys. Like, you gotta get more comfortable with the game, right? We're on 3-6, we're level 6, we have 2 upgraded units on our whole board. We're basically just rocking synergies out here. You're not seeing me roll any gold dumbly, right? Because we realize that either A, these pairs are gonna come along throughout the game. Like, an Ashe 2 isn't gonna make or break the world, neither is a Taric. And we're pretty healthy. So there's no point in us rolling down. We're holding on to these gens so we have a replacement Deadeye, in case when we roll on 7 we either find Urgot, or we find Aphelios and we don't find the counterpart for like the 4 Deadeye, right? And at this point, I could have reforged the Last Whisper, but I don't have the time to, here, and on 4-1, we're going to do a little bit of a roll down on 7. So it's either on 3-5 or 4-1, you're going to do a little bit of a roll down. Because you do have to try to stabilize your board like a little bit. If not, you're going to like start taking some fatty hits. And you're just going to get out of you're going to fall out of the game, right? Now, I do that so fast, so I gotta like have a mental note while I play in the game. And I know there are hotkeys to pause, boys. It's just I'm also rocking a streaming thing right now with hotkeys as well. I don't want to mess up. So mana burn, gain a shard of stillness, and all enemies take 3% of their health back. This is like decent. I wouldn't be too opposed to mana burn, but it's not like Gigabyss. Like the first 2 augments is to like stabilize you, but then you need like this to be like your home run hitter to bring you home or kind of round out the comp, and that isn't going to do it for me. Gain a tome. What is the tome going to be here? Except for like Targon or like 4 Frail Lord. That's all you're going to be looking for out of this. Your units heal 50%. It's basically like 4 units that are doing all the damage, and it's really just Aphelios, so this is like kind of crap. And we're not going for the Brawler, so we're just going to take the last one that's like decent over re-rolling and throwing our whole game. And we're rolling a bit deep here because we had, I think we had an Urgot pair, and I want to hit some things here. Because level 8, they buff the XP to get everything to the next tier. And really, you roll on 7 this meta a whole lot. Which I don't know if it's healthy or not. I would say it isn't. But that's what this meta has become, is you really do a lot of rolling on 7. and me getting used to the meta myself, I had a viewer who was watching me in Twitch chat end up saying you have to put like a unit on either side of Taric, which the person's right. I wasn't actively thinking about it, I was just playing to play, but it's true, his shield covers 2 units, so you really do want to position, you know, 2 units between him and Taric. And I was thinking about putting the large rod on Aphelios, but I learned my lesson in the early game with having a trash component on my Jhin, and I decided to just put the large rod on Cassiopeia to see if I can get a bow here or something. Something to make the Rage Blade. It was a good thing. We were able to secure it. But another thing is the Hex on our bench, guys, right? So this, I'm getting used to the meta myself, and it takes your traits. So, but with Soraka, if I put her on the Hex here, I gain both Invoker and Targon 3. So that was like kind of hyphy. Like mid-game, I was like, oh shit. One thing to notice, you guys, after 5-1 you get no more components. So I didn't know what I want to do with this Kriglove. I didn't know if I want to make Thieves Gloves here, or because you can make a lot of Thieves Gloves with Pandora's bench, guys, especially if you're actively looking to do it. I've had games where I've had like nearly my whole board with just Thieves Gloves on it, and it's very difficult to deal with the whole board bedazzled with items, right? What we really need is we really need that Shen to bring the team home. The Shen makes Taric much tankier than usually you would get the Invoker, but in this case you don't. It's either Shen or Scion, one of the two. And this is why I think it's really important to roll so much on 7, guys. My whole board is upgraded except for my Aphelios, and we're still losing. I do think a key thing to note is that I didn't hit the action on this game, and I'm rocking the Jhin. So this is just playing flexible and not being like a cookie cutter every single game. And we're just going to power level here, because really just getting a Shen out on the board, like I said, everything's upgraded except for, you know, the last unit. If I hit Aphelios here, I stabilize super hard and I win. Around... You guys gotta be comfortable. Around 40 gold, you're good. Around 30 gold, you know, you got about like 3 lives, depending on your losses you're taking, right? You gotta start basically, just like life insurance in real life, you gotta start betting on when you're gonna die to roll your gold. And I'm very close to stabilizing. If I just find this Aphelios, your boy's home, like we're good. So their guy already has Aphelios too, which makes me really jealous. This guy's rocking Hurricane on Aphelios, so I might have to try out that technology. I don't think it's nearly as good, though. I don't think you rock Hurricane on him. And I do believe Targon gives him healing without having Hodge, but I don't know how good that healing is. And the reason why I should have done that in the previous fight is I should have put the Lissandra off to the right, so that way the Aphelios, he doesn't target my Aphelios, and you just hit the Lissandra. And we're at 2 HP, boys. We're mad clenching it here. It's looking like a Giga 8. Since we have Pandora's box, we don't have to care about this blue buff here. We can just grab the Shen pair and hit the Shen upgrade, which Shen is such a big unit to have. In my head, we're like so close to winning in this game. I was like getting so upset. I'm like, bro, where's my Aphelios? I'm getting mortared so hard here. Also, how I'm positioning is really important, guys. You're gonna see how I put Aphelios by himself alone in that corner, and I put the Ashe not just in the middle, but like 2 hexes over. And that isn't on accident, it's on purpose. This comp doesn't have a whole lot of flexibility in how it positions. You really do kind of have to position like this for the comp to work, where you have, you know, your 3 tanks in the front, Lissandra to ult you over, and then you kind of have to have Aphelios by himself in this corner, so that way Yasuo doesn't ulti, he doesn't get hit by all this splash shit. You're allowing him to basically ramp infinite, and the only time you really ever have to change this positioning is if you're fighting like a rogue player. That's it. And we locked for the Soraka, because I think Targon 3 here is really important. We're removing the Chalice, that way we can re-roll the unit. And then I was really wanting to hit Diamond 2, so you know I'm trying to butter somebody up in all chat. Because at least if you hit the next tier, you can like lose the next game and be at 0 LP without having to go all the way down. I guess this is the only time where Last Whisper would be decent this game is when this guy has like Radiant Bramble. I don't even think it makes a difference because everybody just views it as like Aphelios like lasering down one unit because that's what you're seeing the whole game, but that isn't the case really. His ulti like hits the whole back and like splashes, and I think Infinity Edge allows that to crit, and I just think Infinity Edge is Gigabus. I really do think you need it. And some people would argue, like, well, what about the front line? Don't you need to, chew through the front line? You need Last Whisper? I don't think so with Deadeye, because Deadeye splashes the whole back. And as you guys can see here, when you're on level 8, you're never going to be able to go level 9. It's so hard to go level 9 this game unless you have, like, a good econ augment. So that's why I think Action 3 is, like, super good. But you guys will see this. I thought this guy was, like, a challenger player. So, like, I'm positioning like this, where yes, he has, like, a 1 in 4 chance. And I was, like, scouting him to make him think I was going to move. And then I never moved, thinking that, oh, you know, he would try to predict my movement, and he just Zephyred my Aphelios anyways. So, like, I big-brained myself here for no reason. And this is why I think Last Whisper's pointless. I'm not even getting through a 0-item Poppy. I think you're better off just deleting the backline with, like, higher crit values, and then, you know, just mopping up the front after you do it. As you can see, we hit Diamond 2, boys. Woohoo! You know, we're one step away from Masters. So I hope you guys have a good day. And there's not a whole lot more to say, really. You know, best of luck. Just a little bit of me talking over my gameplay, and have a good, you know, have a swell week.